All right, now let's get some rapid-fire response from our panel on these stories. Voters made their voices heard in the first House race since the Democrats passed that god-awful health care reform bill. The result? Democratic win, 62% of the vote. So much for unplugging grandma. Despite what the righties want you to think, President Obama is still the most important and popular politician in the country. He trounces every major Republican political figure in a new poll. And Trader Joe Lieberman says, thank God the political momentum is with the Republicans. With us tonight, Laura Flanders, author of Blue Grit, and also the host of Grit TV, and Michael Medved, nationally syndicated radio talk show host, with us tonight. All right, let's talk Joe Lieberman. Where's the mojo on this one, Laura? What do you think?
Well, I think he's got it completely wrong. Surprise, surprise. It's not about momentum. It's about manipulation. You talked about it at the top. Sarah Palin's not speaking to people. She's manipulating people, and she's inciting all the stuff that you mentioned and planning, I think, sadly, to ride that wave of resentment all the way to November. I don't think it's good for democracy. I don't think it's really democracy at work, but Lieberman's got it wrong for sure.
Michael, where's the political roller here for the Republicans? I mean, you're only as good as your last election, and last night they lost.
Well, they lost in a heavily Democratic district, but a win is a win is a win. This is going to be a tough, closely fought election. I think everybody knows Republicans are going to gain seats. The question is, are they going to gain the 38 seats they need to gain to take the House of Representatives? I do think Joe Lieberman is right. The momentum is with the Republican Party because people are worried about new taxes, and they're worried about debt, and they're worried about how we're going to pay off this rising deficit that is rising with no end in sight.
You know, this is why Harry Reid is down in the polls in Nevada, because he doesn't throw Joe Lieberman out of the caucus after saying, thank God that the political momentum is with the Republicans. All right, let's talk about this race last night. Where is this sea change that everybody's talking about, Laura Flanders?
Well, I'm afraid what I was sort of blinded by was the $1.5 million that was spent on this race. That was clearly a kind of runaway for the winner. Sure, there are victories, and victories should be celebrated by Democrats. They turned Democrats out in a Democratic district. It showed that the Tea Partiers could maybe incite people, but not excite people enough to actually vote. But that $1.5 million, and do we have to spend this money on races like this? I want to see change.
Here are the numbers last night. Ted Deutsch in Florida gets 62% of the vote. Michael, you point out it's a heavily Democratic district, but apparently there aren't enough Republicans down there or disenfranchised Democrats or independents to do better than 35%? Isn't this a poor showing?
No, it's not an encouraging showing. I agree with you. But look, if the Democrats were to lose or to run close in this kind of district, I think Laura is right. The amazing thing is the Democrats had to spend so much money. Look, the reason that the momentum is with Republicans is because of opinions like the opinion that Laura just gave with respect, suggesting that Republicans are manipulating people. The American people are smart. They're not sheep. They can't be manipulated.
The CNN opinion research poll favorably viewed President Obama on top of the heap at 57%. Against the Republicans, you got Huckabee at 43, the Midster at 40, Sarah Palin 39, and Newt still trying to get her going at 38%. How do you explain this? If there's so much momentum, Michael, what about this? Well, the president's doing well, and people like the guy.
The momentum is for Republican ID, and for the first time in Gallup, the first time in several years, there was a higher approval rating for the Republicans in Congress than for the Democrats in Congress. That's telling. Of course, President Obama is more popular than his ideas. He is personally popular. He's an impressive guy. And I think, by the way, Republicans make a mistake when they attack him as some kind of alien socialist weirdo.
A lot of that going on.
There is. And that's what's going to kill the Republican momentum that we're talking about. We've got to take this guy on his ideas and his policies, not his personality, because his personality is likable.
Laura, the final word on this
Final
issue.
word. I'm glad Barack Obama's doing well, according to the polls. The problem is, what are other Americans doing? What are those jobless Americans doing? Not much. And it's not that they're being manipulated. It's that they're genuine concerns. Or rather, it's not that they're not being manipulated or that they don't have genuine concerns. They do have genuine concerns that are being manipulated. Did any of that make sense? The point is, there are people with real problems that are being riled up to hate others and to vote against their interests. That's the problem that Barack Obama has got to address. It's not about him.
You say you know their interests better than they do. I trust the people, and I will trust the people for a big GOP victory in November.